Okay, but look at the actual word here, stagflation. I mean, it shouldn't even exist.
Oh, it completely breaks the rules.
Right. Just structurally, linguistically, economically, it is, well, it's a paradox mashed into a single incredibly ugly word.
Yeah.
It's like saying freezing fire or falling upwards or something. It defies the fundamental physics of how we are taught the world, and specifically the economy, is supposed to operate.
Right, because you have these two massive, lumbering economic forces, stagnation and inflation. And they are, they're supposed to be mutually exclusive.
Like total opposites.
Exactly. They're essentially opposites. And suddenly, in this specific scenario, they're not just happening at the exact same time, they are somehow locked together in the same room.
Which brings us to the actual mission of what we're doing today. We are trying to deconstruct this massive, imposing, deeply unsettling release from 1985.
Coming out of Cambridge, Mass.
Right, from Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's a book by two authors, Michael Bruno and Jeffrey Sachs. And the title alone, I mean, it tells you that you are in for a truly miserable ride.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Economics of Worldwide Stagflation. And just to ground this, before we even get into the heavy theory, I want you, the listener, to just imagine this scenario for a second.
Okay.
Imagine your local economy is a ghost town. It is completely stalled out. Like, businesses on Main Street are boarding up their windows. Nobody is hiring for miles.
A total freeze.
Yeah, a total freeze.
Yeah.
And your own wages have been frozen solid for 3 years. It is an absolute dead zone.
Right. You are making the exact same amount of money you were half a decade ago, assuming you even still have a job.
Right. But then, at the exact same time, you walk into your local grocery store, and the price of a gallon of milk has doubled since last month.
Yeah.
Your landlord slides a piece of paper under your door saying your rent just went up 20%.
It's wild.
The economy around you is dead. Nobody has a dime of disposable income. But somehow, the prices of the absolute bare essentials are skyrocketing out of control. That is the nightmare of stagflation.
What's fascinating here is, well, it's how violently that scenario rejects basic logic. Because under normal circumstances, high prices, inflation, happen when an economy is running incredibly hot.
Yeah, when things are booming.
Exactly. It happens when everyone has a great job, wages are high, people have cash burning holes in their pockets, and they're all rushing to the store to buy that exact same gallon of milk.
So the store owner sees a line out the door and says, "Great, I can charge more for this milk."
Precisely. The engine of the economy is booming, demand is massive, and prices go up as a result. Conversely, if the economy is stagnant...
Like if people are losing jobs.
Right. If nobody is spending, the store owner is supposed to look at the milk rotting on the shelf and slash the price just to get rid of it. I mean, recessions is miserable because people lose their jobs, but the tiny silver lining is that things are supposed to get cheaper.
Okay, let's unpack this using an analogy, because the absurdity of this paradox is really the only way to grasp what Bruno and Sachs are dissecting in this text.
I love a good analogy.
It's like sitting in a car. You are in the driver's seat, and you are slamming your foot down on the brake pedal with all your physical might.
Okay.
The emergency brake is pulled up, the wheels are totally locked, the car is not moving a single inch forward.
So that is the stagnation.
That is a stagnation, but at the exact same time, the engine is revving totally out of control.
Right.
The RPM needle is pinned in the red, the engine block is screaming, smoke is pouring out from under the hood, and you are burning through a full tank of wildly expensive gas in minutes. That's the inflation.
The vehicle is just tearing itself apart from the inside out.
But wait, stop right there. Because this is where my brain starts to reject the premise.
How so?
How does a system like that not just instantly collapse? I mean, if nobody have any money because wages are stagnant and unemployment is high, how can prices keep going up? Who is buying the expensive milk?
Yeah, that's the big question.
If I don't have the cash, I don't buy the milk. The milk spoils. The store owner goes bankrupt. It feels like a temporary economic glitch that should burn itself out in a matter of weeks, not something that requires a massive definitive book by two Cambridge academics to explain.
Well, that is the exact puzzle that makes this concept so terrifying.
Yeah.
If you rely on basic logic, the idea that prices only go up when people want to buy things, you hit a brick wall.
Right.
So if we deduce the mechanics purely from the paradox itself, without any outside context, there's only one horrifying conclusion. The prices aren't going up because people are desperately trying to buy the milk.
Okay, then why?
The prices are going up because the fundamental ability to produce the milk has structurally broken down.
Wait, what do you mean structurally broken down?
Think about the underlying logic.
Yeah.
If demand is dead, but prices are rising, It means the baseline cost of mere existence has fundamentally mutated.
Oh, wow.
The cost to feed the cow, the cost to run the milking machines, the cost to physically transport that milk from the farm to the grocery store.
The gas in the delivery trucks?
Exactly. The cost to keep the refrigerators running at the store, all of that has suddenly become overwhelmingly expensive.
So the store owner isn't raising the price to get rich off a booming economy?
No, not at all. They are raising the price because if they sell the milk for what they sold it for yesterday, they will be utterly ruined tomorrow.
Right.
They have to double the price just to survive, even knowing full well that you, the customer, cannot afford it. It's an involuntary reaction to a system that is seizing up.
That's terrifying.
The businesses are bleeding, the consumers are bleeding, and the economy grinds into this agonizing slow-motion crawl where the cost of simply keeping the lights on compounds exponentially.
So it's not an engine revving because someone is pressing the gas pedal to go fast. It's an engine revving because the internal gears have shattered and they are just grinding against each other.
Exactly. And the friction is generating massive amounts of heat. The inflation, while the vehicle itself remains totally paralyzed, the stagnation.
Which brings us to the second word in the title of this book. And honestly, the word that elevates this from a weird theoretical problem to an absolute horror story.
The scope of it.
Yeah, because we've talked about the paradox of stagflation, but Bruno and Sachs didn't just write a book called Economics of Stagflation. They called it Economics of Worldwide Stagflation.
The scale of the contagion is really what matters here.
I mean, think about the weight of the word worldwide. Here's where it gets really interesting, because usually if you have a stagnant economy, it's localized.
Right, it's regional.
You might have a terrible recession in one country, but there's always a release valve somewhere else on the planet. If the economy in the United States is stalled out, maybe Europe is having an incredible manufacturing boom.
Or Asia is seeing massive economic growth. There is an asymmetry to the global economy that usually protects us.
Right. You can export your goods to the booming countries, or you can borrow from them, or you can attract their investments.
You have options.
There is a lifeline you can grab onto to pull yourself out of the mud. But the word worldwide implies that the lifeline has been cut. There is absolutely nowhere to hide.
If we look at the publication year, 1985, that metadata alone tells us a profound story about what Michael Bruno and Jeffrey Sachs were doing.
Yeah, the timing is huge.
Two academics sitting in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1985 weren't writing a speculative science fiction novel about what might happen in some dystopian future. They were writing an autopsy.
Oh, man.
They were documenting a global phenomenon that had to have been so undeniably present, so universally devastating, that they could confidently stamp the word worldwide on the cover without fear of academic mockery.
You don't publish a book with that title unless the entire planet has already felt the disease.
Exactly. It implies that this bizarre, impossible paradox we just described, the shattered engine gears grinding against each other, somehow managed to leap across national borders.
Like a virus.
Yeah, it ignored different political ideologies, it ignored different types of governments, and it infected the entire interconnected structure of the globe simultaneously.
It's the economic equivalent of a global pandemic where the virus mutates so fast that closing the borders doesn't even matter because it's already in the water supply.
Right.
If every country is dealing with stagnant wages and skyrocketing prices at the exact same time, who do you trade with? Who bails you out?
Nobody. Because the fundamental supply mechanisms of the planet are locked up. It means the problem isn't that one country made a bad policy decision.
No.
It means the very foundation of how the world produces and transports goods has encountered a massive shock, and everyone is trapped in the same burning building.
That feeling of being trapped, like that claustrophobia, it perfectly transitions us to the literal physical object we are talking about today, because the aesthetics of this book, the visual presentation of the source material, is honestly jarring. I can't stop looking at it.
It is a profoundly aggressive object to look at.
When you think of a 1985 academic text from Cambridge, Massachusetts, written by two guys named Michael and Jeffrey, you have a very specific image in your head, right?
Oh, sure.
You picture something incredibly dry. Maybe a muted navy blue cover or a tasteful beige.
Some very small, elegant typography.
Right, a little abstract geometric shape in the center.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look rational, calm, and
And
objective.
it should look like a textbook.
But this doesn't look like an academic text at all.
Yep.
I look at this cover, and my brain instantly registers it as a 1980s Stephen King horror novel.
Yeah, or a warning sign.
Or a brutalist warning sign that you would find bolted to the steel door of a crumbling nuclear reactor. The entire background of the cover is this stark, unyielding, pure blood red.
Just red.
There is no gradient. There is no subtle shading. There is no art. It is just a wall of aggressive red taking up all the real estate.
There is zero subtlety to it. It is entirely uncompromising.
And then overlaid on top of the sea of red, you have the title, Economics of Worldwide Stagflation. And the typography they chose is fascinating.
It's heavy.
It's this massive, heavy, imposing black serif font. The letters are incredibly thick. They look dense. They feel like they physically weigh a ton, pressing down on the center of the book.
Yeah.
And then right below that, the authors' names, Michael Bruno and Jeffrey Sachs, are printed in this stark, blinding white text that just jumps off the red background.
It looks dangerous.
Yes, it looks like it's screaming at you.
If we connect this visual aesthetic to the bigger picture, the underlying logic of what we've been discussing, the design choice is actually brilliant.
How so?
Because it completely abandons academic neutrality in favor of psychological reality.
Right.
In the world of finance, in the world of accounting and economics, red is the universal, undeniable color of loss.
Oh, right.
It's the color of panic. Seeing red numbers on a ledger means you are losing money. It means you are bleeding.
Like being in the red.
Right. And to have a book cover that is entirely uniformly red with heavy, crushing black text laid over it is a literal visual representation of the global economic bleeding that the title is describing.
That makes so much sense.
It signals a state of absolute emergency. It is telling the reader, before they even open the first page, that the contents of this book are not just theoretical musings. The system is hemorrhaging, and this text is the bloody bandage.
It really does feel like an emergency beacon, like, do not ignore this because if you do, the machine dies. Which honestly forces us to stop looking at this from a bird's eye view.
Right, we have to look closer.
Stop looking at the macroeconomics and the cover art and zoom all the way into what this actually means on the ground. For you.
The reality of it.
Because it is so easy to talk about supply-side shocks, structural breakdowns, and global paradigms, and completely lose sight of what worldwide stagflation actually does to a human being trying to survive a Tuesday.
It completely erodes the fundamental psychological contract of participating in a working society.
Let's walk through what that erosion actually feels like. Imagine you are just a regular person living through the reality Bruno and Sachs are documenting. You wake up, you go to work. Your boss sits you down in a windowless office and says, look, I'm sorry, the company isn't growing. The entire economy is totally flat. We absolutely cannot give you a raise this year. In fact, you should consider yourself lucky we aren't doing layoffs right now.
So your income ceiling is immediately locked in place. You cannot earn more.
Right. You swallow your pride, you accept that your wages are frozen, and you leave work. On the way home, you realize your car is almost empty, so you pull into a gas station.
And that's where the second hit comes.
The price of gas is up 40% from what it was a few months ago. You feel a pit in your stomach, but you have to get to work tomorrow, so you pay it. Then you stop at the grocery store.
Just for the basics.
You aren't buying luxury items. You are buying bread, eggs, milk, the bare minimum to feed your family. And the total at the register is double what it used to be.
Because the cost of transporting and refrigerating those eggs has exploded, and the store is passing that cost entirely onto you.
Exactly. You get home feeling completely drained, and there's an envelope taped to your front door. It's from your landlord. The note says their operational costs have gone up, so your rent is increasing by an amount that completely wipes out whatever tiny margin of error you had left in your checking account.
And we cannot forget the silent killer in this scenario.
Which is?
If you were responsible, if you played by the rules and actually managed to put a little bit of savings away in the bank, that money isn't just sitting there safely.
Oh, because of the inflation.
Because of the rampant inflation, the actual purchasing power of your savings is rotting away day by day. Every single morning you wake up, the money in your bank account is worth less than it was the night before.
You are getting crushed in a vice grip from every conceivable angle. Your income has a hard, impenetrable ceiling, but your daily expenses have absolutely no roof.
They just keep climbing.
They just keep climbing into the sky. And the most suffocating part of this, the thing that I think drives people completely insane, is that there is no behavioral change you can make to fix it.
You were stripped of your agency.
Exactly. You can't just say, well, I'll pull myself up by my bootstraps and work harder because there are no extra shifts to pick up. The economy is stagnant. Nobody is hiring. You
Right.
can't just say, well, I'll be more frugal and spend less because the things that are exploding in price aren't fancy vacations or new televisions. It's food, fuel, and shelter.
It's the essentials.
You try to maintain a polite, academic, detached perspective when you look at these old historical texts. You try to analyze the linguistic paradoxes and the cool cover art. But when you strip all that away and you put it all together, the agonizing stagnation, the inescapable global scale, the relentless skyrocketing costs of just trying to stay alive, it is just a completely fucked situation for a normal person to live through.
It is. It truly is a nightmare scenario. And that intense reaction you are having, that sense of total hopelessness, is exactly why a text like this has to exist.
Yeah.
It's why two leading academics dedicated an entire imposing volume to naming the monster. Because a systemic failure that leaves its citizens in that exact, impossible, unfixable trap is a system that is standing on the absolute precipice of total collapse.
It pushes people to the breaking point.
If human beings cannot afford the basic requirements of life, and the economy simultaneously refuses to provide them with a mechanism to earn more money to survive, the mathematical problem very quickly mutates into a social crisis.
Right. People get desperate.
It creates an environment of pure desperation.
It breaks the rules of economics, but more importantly, it breaks the spirit of the people trapped inside the machine. You are stepping on the brake, the engine is screaming, the heat is building up inside the cabin, and eventually the pressure becomes so immense that something just has to explode.
Which brings us to a really uncomfortable, lingering thought.
Okay.
This raises an important question that I think we have to confront. Michael Bruno and Jeffrey Sachs painstakingly documented this massive, paradoxical, world-breaking economic glitch back in 1985. They wrapped it in a blood-red warning cover. They gave it a terrifying name, and they proved that the global system is fragile enough to fall into this specific agonizing trap.
We know it can happen.
We have the proof that it can happen on a worldwide scale. But looking at the modern world, at how deeply intertwined our global supply networks are, how dependent every country is on the exact same fragile systems,
Yeah.
and how quickly panic spreads.
Yeah.
What absolute guarantee do we have that a massive paralyzing anomaly of worldwide stagflation couldn't just spontaneously lock up the entire planet again tomorrow?